wider society. For example, if we take a look at the State 5, the story displayed a change in Eden's philosophy, where he went to a state that he would stay and prioritize his life rather than destroying the enemy. Ida later realizes that revenge for his brother isn't the true answer, as a true hero is one that chooses their powers responsibly to save those in need. In Season 5, we see Ida remember Deku, which allowed him to succeed in his task. Stain defines the hero as a person who makes sacrifices, the one who saves people and asks nothing in return. Feeling angry for those you love being hurt by others is totally fine and justified, right? We all get that. But using this anger in the name of justice is incorrect, as making that person suffer like you did makes the cycle continue with rage and hatred spreading even further, something that even Shigaraki is using and building to have enough power to steal one for all, causing chaos around the whole world. The characters such as Gran Torino told Deku that he has to kill Shigaraki, but the messages in One for All asks what this hero is someone that prioritizes everything for the greater good. They should never willingly choose the idea of killing someone over the idea of wanting to save them, much like Batman, Spider-Man, and other protagonists like Naruto. Another instance where we see this drive to save and protect others is during the UA entrance exam. Everyone is gathering points by killing small fry robots, when out of the blue, a big boy comes out and everyone starts running away from it. Horikoshi uses little small events from the very beginning of My Hero Academia, which ripple into larger events that Deku has to overcome these hurdles, where it will eventually foretell the story that Deku himself willing to sacrifice his own needs and wants for others, making him a true hero. Now let's begin with explaining that Deku, he knew he was at 0 points, with 2 minutes remaining. He needs to also run away, mind you. But he sees Uraraka in trouble, about to be hit. Without hesitating again, he jumps into action, literally away the robot and saving Uraraka in the process, where Deku breaks his whole body and ends up with no points. He wasn't thinking of anything. It was his heart and body which moved out of pure instinct to save this girl from being crushed. This shows that before anything else and before personal gain, saving others and expecting nothing in return is something that is in Deku's morality. For this reason, Deku has the potential of becoming a greatest hero. But in my opinion, I'm just saying, the biggest downgrade from this moment is that not only did my man gain credit, no.
Stim BD?
What the hell? Yo, you guys are trigger happy, fam. I wasn't even going to say anything stupid. I said to say someone you wouldn't want to marry one day. This example that the theme of saving the person is not only bounded by physical means, rather it is also to save the person bounded by their
I need help.
Thanks,
BD.
Health. In chapter 38, during the UA has to be one of the most this leads to Nick not being able to perform at 100%. Deku decides to do what he feels is right by sacrificing his victory to try and get Shoto to free himself from the chains he's putting himself in. Deku picks up quickly that the reason for Shoto not using his quirk is because of his disdain for his father, due to all the abuse he received, along with the mental trauma he was put through, with the fatal combat. And never broke his mother mentally leading to the scar he has on his face. But coming back to the fight, Deku takes an attack after attack and lashes out at Shoto, breaking all his fingers and both his arms in the process. Not satisfied with leaving Shoto to take the first fight alone, he forced Shoto to push deep within him. Deku utters the words, "Your power is your own," which triggers Shoto and it very deep subconscious, re-submerging. Idolizing all of my Deku and wanting to be like is moving a symbolic message by being the new symbol of peace. Deku gives hope to others, and this is why Uraraka decided to change the meaning of his name, when initially it meant useless, but she said it's the opposite, it means I can do it. Look at the situation with Eri. Deku saved her mentally and physically too, saving her from mental health and the trauma that she went through. Now, right now, I'm going to pass the video on to Yusuf as he will break down the second part of the video, where we will be discussing how the final part of My Hero Academia will go down. Okay, so now I'll be taking over the video from Ardal, explaining the meaning behind these events and how the ending will shape up to be. As we mentioned, yes, I can do it, saying the theme of Pulse Ultra was explored in many moments, but particularly Deku was muscular, as it was another important moment highlighting the effect a person can have on others, especially to the next generation. As humans from birth, we are inspired from those who raise us, our parents, teachers, and then society as a whole. And then our perceptions and ideologies are formulated from these experiences. Unfortunately, negative connotations to positive realities also is a byproduct of this. Kota is a prime example. As a young boy who had the perception of heroes that was extremely negative, this small process didn't just come out of thin air. As I said, experience is nearly always the case. Kota's hatred for heroes developed after the death of his parents, who both died on the job of being pro-heroes. This left our boy Kota abandoned and all alone, where he blamed his parents partly for wanting the job more than being with him. From then on, he didn't even want to be around anyone who dreamt of becoming a hero. This reality is a parallel to Shigaraki's own father, whose mother, Nana Shumana, left him all alone due to her job as a hero. In effect, Shigaraki's father, just like Kota, despised all heroes to the point of even abusing them. One things Shigaraki from this mindset and this hatred rippled into no one's even Shigaraki from this tomboy after his action and become his power. Shigaraki took the same Kota from his potential personality by showcases bravery and conviction as he springs into action against muscular to save and protect Kota, the son of the heroes who were raised by muscular himself. Yet he never let this stop him. Instead, he pushed his limits to ensure he doesn't go down without a fight, without going plus ultra. Deku's main goal throughout the fight was to keep Kota safe. When Kota witnessed Deku's triumph over muscular, he understood what it meant to be a hero and to be called my hero. Kota at that point was used to world peace and understood that Kota the what a hero could be to someone else. He saw this influence that he had on Kota in chapter 184. He used it to a letter thanking him, and he was also very gracious for him. Yes, the consequence of class should become part. Now this embodies a message that the spiral itself is helping create reform in society that will allow for the circumstances that will result may still be much less. Every millions of my being parallel to the as the representative of good came out from their society, as he was saved by all might and was given love by his parents, and was good for people he is, but he idolized the true hero, which gave him a sense of justice. What is inspiring the new generation that our coach is trying to constantly highlight
Let's find shelter.
Night Brother runes. Think we're getting close to a village?
Was that a hit?
Now, BD!
He mends his wounds! Stop him!
He's withdrawing.
Die, interloper!
Prepare to die, Jedi.
Strike him! He shakes in fear.
Come back here.
I need a stim, BD.
The wrong Jedi so weak.
Try me, Jedi. Think you can match me? Try harder, weakling.
Just be the number one hero. The greatest hero is to attempt to save anyone, even someone that goes beyond saving and past the point of redemption. During the war, really, this society questioning the ideals of heroes as they
I've seen what comes from their dead.
Get the intruder! Stop him from moving! Keep on him! Please! He shakes his beard.
A solid hit.
You will kill the Jedi! Defeat is assured. Another falls to our might.
beyond the goal of those who need saving. This time we're gonna attempt to save Shigaraki, someone who had the ability due to the backlash that was left from the hero Nana Shimura's fight against All for One. This constant battle between heroes and villains doesn't solve the actual problem. Instead, it continues to fuel the cycle of hate. As we saw in Jumping Up to the Fire,
Brothers, aid me! Shakes in fear.
I got you.
Where is your skill?
to die, Jedi?
I will strike you. Have to try harder. You and me, then.
BD, you got something to help me?
Get him.
Fight me, you coward!
Your tactics are useless. Nothing stands against us, brother.
This man off rather than put him in prison because they do not know what work he actually has left in store. He can make another man to escape from prison or create another victim just like Shigaraki. Therefore, the same mistake should not be repeated again. Reality is, all for one has to die for good. Otherwise, he will somehow force combat. Now we know we needed to think Shigaraki will become a hero, just like Vegeta once again gained redemption from Naruto and the others. Shigaraki can do a heroic act of help Deku by actually taking the action of killing all for one away from Deku to save the world from the future issues that stemmed from him in the first place. So once again, Deku will attempt to save Shigaraki from the clutches of all for one. In response, Shigaraki will help Deku fight must die no matter the cost. However, Deku killing him will remove despair overtaking his life. Shigaraki will save Deku from this despair as his final act in life, becoming a true hero that he dreamt to be. This is what why the book and let's not forget, was the beacon for the most Deku and Shoto will also have as the number one at the best and what it's like to be just like him. Deku has a magic stimulation
Brothers, aid me! Leave, vermin! Don't lose sight of him! Will not be denied! Can't win, outsider! Stop stalling! Die, interloper!
Another step?
Your blows are weak! Next time.
Brother! Intruder! Help me, brother!
by himself, yeah.
I'm not sure if this was her full scenario or not, but let's say like all 3,000 lines. And that, I'll create another part and see. Anyways, let's begin. Just like normal, front play with Vegeta, Kakarot's pot is sent away. It's on a course for her. Of course, the Galactic Control didn't pick up on this. That's why Jotto went in the first place. But there's another person who's worried. That is King Kai. There aren't too many planets with life in Year 7. And, at least for his squadron, King Kai was doing his best to protect it. The Saiyan being sent to Earth is a recipe for disaster. Since he's so concerned about this, he decides to redirect the pop, bringing it to his planet. He doesn't intend on raising this kid. No, his goal is to kill him. Working his magic, the pod is then teleported away, crossing realms as it goes to King Kai's planet. Inside, of course, is a baby Saiyan. Seemingly a low-class one. King Kai's gonna be this over with one day, but for some reason he really can't bring himself to do it. He knows how the Saiyans are, he knows that this should be done. But there's something really holding him back. It's a Saiyan, but it's a Saiyan baby. He begins thinking, there has to be another way, right? But then he realizes there's one much better option than he did. Instead of eliminating the Saiyan, he'll raise him. And he needs more good warriors in Year 7. A lot of the strong ones are evil. So, not only would this mean King Kai doesn't have to do this, but he could also be creating strong warriors that can help him. It's King's memories. Finding out that his name is Kakarot. His parents secretly were being. Usually when a Saiyan is sent to a planet, they intend to destroy it. But this one is different. Find out he's on a planet changes destruction. And that's exactly why this child is sent away. He's a survivor of the last century. And he's a potential letter about his children. He was never a danger to Earth. Well, at least not directly. I don't think that his bridges.
The medicine ain't beating you bad, is it?
Although, of course, he is around. King Kai can fix that. As the years go by, Kakarot becomes much smarter and a little bit more powerful. Although he does retain some of the same. There was one little precaution that King Kai had to take. For Kakarot, the tail does serve as a possible weakness. Not only is it a weak spot for Saiyans, but creating his control. King Kai can have control this form, but there's not really space in his planet. Besides, what monkey wouldn't be able to know? There's a giant one on top. Besides being smarter, Kakarot was much stronger than normal. He still has the same peaceful environment he grew up with on Earth, but he has the benefit of gravity. As with every other Saiyan, he's actually grown ancient time, which is what might be Jedi. He's hindered in any way. And this, of course, means he can grow a lot stronger. Kakarot continues to squirm. Meanwhile, on Earth, things are still happening, although a lot different than normal. Of course, Grandpa Gohan is a survivor, living a relatively peaceful life, but he's not very important in the story. And surprisingly, Goku also seems to be except for this small part. Here, like the Gohan story. And even though Goku is there to help her, there's a fair chance that she gives her dragon wings. Between her wish one might testify stronger as the boyfriend. She's stronger. Inadvertently, this means the Pilaf game is making a wish. So, it's a win-win. She gets her wish, and the Pilaf game is stuck. For the time being. Later on, there's a bigger issue. Remember, the army started making something known. And naturally, with all the power, they make great progress with the dragon balls. And this is an issue that Earth can only solve itself. He has Kakarot. He just gets power and stops him back. Although Kakarot can show the opportunity. No, she's but also his power and his like Kakarot is sitting there, and as you can probably imagine, he's not
Drinking and drugging, that's the term for it.
although it doesn't work. He does still and he wants to get very strong. So now he wants to reform his style of thinking and approaching the rest of it. Incredibly
Just say, you know, out here drinking and drugging and all good
as well as something somewhat proud of his student, and he's still motivated to go further. So Roshi's not too worried. And while things seem okay, of course, King Piccolo and his crew are about to arrive. Tambourine attacks Krillin, but Krillin is actually able to defend this time. He thankfully gets to live. But now he has this huge challenge in front of him. And he doesn't have as many allies to help. Bulma, of course, is not involved, and Yamcha probably wouldn't be either. Tenshinhan and Chaozu probably would help them. Even though Bulma, as Goku did, they do have a common enemy there. So, surprisingly, the Turtle School and the Great School team up. Piccolo must be stopped at all costs. They dismantle Piccolo's forces, which isn't really too hard, but it seems like they have a lot of the Dragon Balls already. They do have a great plan. If they're able to get the Dragon Balls, they can wish to see Piccolo away. If not, they'll be out of luck. Piccolo will be too strong for them to defeat. The group is able to get most of the Dragon Balls from Piccolo, and now they'll have to lure him in to get the rest of it. This plan isn't working. Krillin and Tenshinhan distract Piccolo. They can't really contend with him in terms of power, but they hold him off as Chaozu goes and steals the wish. King Piccolo is sealed away, and it seems the job is done. All is going pretty good. Earth remains safe, and Kakarot is watching along. King Kai was prepared to have him intervene, but they're lucky that they didn't have to. They're all pretty impressed with the people on Earth. It's not so often we see an Earthling as strong like Krillin. As we move forward, Krillin would eventually end up training with Kami. Kami would still be alive here because Piccolo was sealed away, not killed. And Krillin would literally move his way up. Let's go back to King Kai's plan. Kakarot is of course growing stronger still, and he's even beginning to learn some new techniques. He has complete control of the can. Now that he's aged up somewhat, his body can actually handle it, although he has to pace himself and work into it. But what intrigues Kakarot more is that guy, Krillin. King Kai has word that he's been training with Kami, and Kakarot gets curious. You know what? I'm now just realizing that everyone has K names. King Kai, Kakarot, Krillin, Kami. Weird coincidence. They're going to keep a close eye on this Krillin guy. More time passes, and eventually the 23rd World Tournament happens. There's no Piccolo Jr. this time. And as for Tenshinhan, he's not as bad as he was before. He's kind of rivals with Krillin. And naturally, Krillin would end up winning this tournament. There's not really too many strong people there. Clearly, a lot has changed on Earth. Yamcha isn't involved, and he's probably still abandoned. As for Bulma, once she got her wish, she was satisfied, and she goes on with a normal life. Chi-Chi may continue fighting, but I'm not really too sure how long it will go on for. So, she's out of the picture too. Things are peaceful, but pretty tame, at least for the time being. Of course, peril will strike eventually. Even though Kakarot didn't land on Earth, there's someone that thought he did. Raditz. He arrives on Earth, looking around for strong powers. On his scouter, he sees one of a couple hundred range. His powers kind of weak in comparison to Raditz. Only about 600, but it's the strongest he can find, so he pursues him. Raditz lands at Kami House, and the only people there are Krillin and Roshi. They can tell that Raditz has malicious intent. And since this guy is so strong, he wonders if he knows anything about Kakarot. He clearly isn't an average Earthling, and not just because of the fact that he has no nose. When Krillin hears the name Kakarot, he goes pale. This guy's evil, and he's looking for Kakarot. He doesn't know him, but Krillin does know Kakarot's name by now. Does this mean Kakarot's a bad guy? He tells Raditz he's not sure, but he's heard stories about Kakarot. Raditz interrogates him, see if he can get more info. But Krillin doesn't have it. This only angers Raditz. He feels that Krillin is lying. Whatever. He prepares to destroy Krillin. But just before he can attack, someone taps him on the shoulder. He turns around and sees. Standing near his odd clothing is someone that looks relatively like his father. This must be him. Kakarot is here. With Roshi and Krillin running in the basement, Raditz is happy to see his brother, and he seems pretty strong. He wonders what's up with the outfit, but doesn't care. He asks Kakarot to join the Saiyans, and Kakarot asks what they plan to do with Earth. Of course, Raditz plans to destroy him, and he tells Kakarot flat out, think that he'll agree with him. They'll kill everyone on there, and then sell the planet. That's all that Kakarot needs to hear. Raditz sticks out his hand, asking his brother to shake. Kakarot sticks his out, but it turns into a fist as he then knocks Raditz far away, flying across the ocean to land nearby. Kakarot asks Krillin to fly, tells him to follow along. Krillin, of course, agrees. Now seeing that Kakarot is clearly good, they might be afraid or see Raditz over. Weakly, Raditz stands up, angered at what his brother did. Alright, if he wants to fight, Raditz will give up. Kakarot's clearly strong, so he can't screw Raditz. Raditz creates an artificial building, and then turn into a grenade. Krillin's obviously pretty terrified, and Kakarot asks if he can help with something. He'll fight off Raditz, and he wants Krillin to come with his tail if he can. Kakarot will be a distraction as Krillin attacks. Krillin clearly very nervous, but he agrees. Activating Kaioken, Kakarot surpasses Raditz in terms of power. Although it's not something he needs for long, which is why he gets Krillin's help. He defends off Raditz, landing some strong attacks. Raditz is distracting Krillin, not focusing on him. And this is perfect. Krillin has a great technique just for this. In his hands, he turns the Kienza, aiming for Raditz's tail. While he's distracted, he launches the disc. The Kienza completely slices through. As Raditz reacts to his strong he actually chuckled. Really, he could have done this himself, but he wanted to see what Krillin was made of. This was more so intense. With a single attack, he eliminates fragments. Not carrying out the plan. Of course, Krillin is one question. Kakarot is still attack. Every single attempt to Krillin. And for the next year, they're going to have to spend some time together. Before Raditz died, he does mention that the Saiyans are going to come back soon. This will be a perfect test for Kakarot's power, as well as seeing if Krillin can train at this level too. Krillin goes with Kakarot to train for Power Can and prepare for the Saiyans. He's heard of King Kai and Kakarot, but he's actually amazed to be here.
Take him. He will fall before us. Megaton outside.
BD!
One being Kakarot in a secret outfit, and then another being some short boulder who don't have nose for sports. They shout at the Cybermen, both one sweat, Kakarot with his ball. He doesn't want to
Oh, nice.
Like that, they'll play along. Now the sense of first, Krillin ready.
Very nice.
Krillin had his half Nappa was no trouble. As soon as it started, it ends. It's because he can't fight at the same time. Nervous, Kakarot should be out of while Vegeta sends attacks. Being careful, he's not going to hurt Vegeta. Even throws him down. Vegeta's right with Kakarot and Krillin. Vegeta knows he's going to blow this up. But Kakarot actually laughs at this. He's still confident that he's and if anything, this allows him to test his abilities. Kakarot plays like Vegeta's amazed. How to roll this? Kakarot placed off the nose. Not only can he throw him attacks with gravity, he knows how to do nature and by this point, he actually has Kaioken up to times 20. But he really only has that time. Let's have to look at some power levels so we can get a sense of his power. Kakarot's at 30,000, while Krillin's around 10,000. As you can probably tell, this is kind of over, which is why Vegeta is training. Krillin's although his power is much Gohan after a certain point. I still have happened.
Turn back, Jedi.
And it had to happen for Kakarot. Plus, I wanted to do it because it makes the design look nicer, and because I have some plans with it. Tails barely have much in the show as it is, so why not use it weapon? Following the same saga, Krillin would occasionally be hurt in training, while also bringing along his rival Vegeta. King Guys might have those two students first. They both seem very promising, and Krillin was already great as is. Ten definitely had a weird upbringing, but he has been hard man. By all means, he is really strong for an Earthling. After seeing his friend Krillin getting so strong, he kind of wanted to get in on it too. Thankfully, Kami and King Kai were gracious enough to allow this. But the thing is, there's been way more years that have passed from the same time. At least these 4 years. The next thing would naturally be the Blue Saga, which we'll cover later on in this video. And that's over a decade away from when the Sand Saga happened. So there's a lot that we're going to need to cover from that beforehand. Training goes very well on King Kai's planet, but everyone eventually starts seeing the mission game, especially Kaplan. King Kai has a great school. Kakarot does that. I know Kakarot's well
Help, BD!
And possibly see if there's any other steps for setting. Kakarot first tried to pull the Z-sword, but he definitely won't be able to do it.
Thanks, BD.
Because interesting. After researching with some help from Meg, who are safe by the way because Frieza never attacked their planet, Shin found out something really weird about Saiyans that no one knew before. Something called Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan God seems kind of impossible right now though, because apparently to get it, you need 5 other Saiyans and only one exists at the moment. And the only other way to do that is for Kakarot to get God Key somehow, and that'll take a lot of time. But Super Saiyan, that actually seems doable. They don't know much about it, but it's apparently some sort of legend. A Saiyan transformation that can be accessed through anger or something, and it greatly increases the Saiyan's power once they access it. Still, information is sparse and vague about it, but it seems like there's enough to prove that it does exist. Thank you to me for the play. So you, Kakarot, and Super Saiyan this scenario.
Stim BD? That hit the spot.
Access is full. Vegeta's not as strong as Kaioken times 100, stronger than any other multiplication of Kaioken, and it's way less strenuous, even in Grade 1. Just like he was able to practice and perfect Kaioken so much more than he ended up with Super Saiyan. It's a smart idea that allowed him to use it more efficiently. Efficiency seems to be key with
Sacrifices
to
set an example.
It takes him more time, but eventually he does get Grade 4 of Super Saiyan. Struggling to figure out if he can go any higher, at least any higher than Super Saiyan. He can find another way to stress his limits, but he's not too sure about how effective it is. Although he tests it out he is with Shinigami now, Shinkai still does keep up with Kakarot. Obviously he's a student and pretty much his adopted son, and he's amazed at how strong Kakarot has gotten in this short period of time. Shinkai has something that he wants to use Kakarot. Something that both of them will have fun with, the Otherworld Tournament. This is something that Kakarot has no experience with. Remember, he wasn't raised under him, so he has no experience with tournaments. He's only ever smarter than his friend, or fought people who are threats to her. But a tournament definitely does sound fun, and it'll be a great way for him to test out his powers. He's holding himself kind of. So, he ends up being halfway through the hall. Meantime, Krillin and Tina start to back. After the tournament, and one thing I want to consider, I know that the other tournament did happen before the group stopped. Not really planned anyway, for the sake of the scenario, I think looking more into the happen. You'll see why in this scenario it's not going to the respective master. She generated a turn. After the whole well, I mean, there was a lot of work out after all these years. I feel like eventually we have to pass behind me. But that's just a little side. The main focus here are obviously Krillin and 10, 2 and 20. And clearly there's not too many strong players on Earth right now. There's one guy, Mr. Satan, who's apparently been one tournament champ for a while, but in terms of strength, he's nowhere near them. But there is someone else in here who tournament that wasn't there. Well, with both their students gone, Roshi and Chen and their two sons through their direct connection. A bodyguard of the Lord's Tower. Since the dark went so different, the Lord's not represented. Thank God I'm finally able to He's actually made some great progress, and although he doesn't match Tenshinhan and Krillin in terms of power, he is very strong now. This will be his first time entering the tournament. And I'll be honest, he's not going to be too involved in this part, but we're going to see a lot of him later on. So be sure to keep him in mind. The tournament starts thinking like the other. And you know what, just for fun, even Roshi will have some fun too. Those four will be the parts of the tournament. But naturally, the final match is probably going to end up being between Krillin and Tenshinhan. Everything's gone pretty smoothly so far, but there is still a threat. Those weird guys that got taken out in the first part of the tournament, Spokovich and Yama, there's something about them but at least not in comparison to where they were before. They are still possessed by Bobby and they're waiting for the time to strike.
This must be where the Night Brothers live. Through there? Not unless we have no other choice.
Krillin and Tina are ready to have a good fight.
Yeah, that figures.
Krillin attacked. Since he's the strongest here, Spokovich and Yama decided to take his energy as soon as he and 10 power up into Kaioken. Huh, that kind of rhymes. But the thing is, they're not going to be successful here. Shinigami are here to help. And that's because they actually got this information from Kakarot before they attacked Earth. They used it to attack So,
Prepare to die, Jedi.
that's why they went out. Shitting me before they go on her. And regardless, Bobby was not going to
Try me, Jedi. Stop moving. Was that a hit? Not much more now.
While those two face both with Yamu, another tournament is happening in Otherworld, and it's definitely way more peaceful. With Super Saiyan, Kakarot's very strong. He was before, but this is something else. It's crazy how strong it makes him. But there's one opponent that gives him trouble. That big Piper. Kakarot has a pretty easy advantage. Everyone in this tournament is dead besides him. And as we've seen, being dead actually helps him in fight, especially when using something strenuous like Super Saiyan or Kaioken. But not just that, Piper is pretty powerful, and the fight is pretty interesting. It's a huge spectacle, and Kakarot's forced to break out some I'm gonna keep timing on this, but this is the first time we've actually used it prior. If you were dead, it would be way easier. And you'd be able to do this at higher levels, but he's still gonna break out regardless. With his now perfect control of Super Saiyan, he stacks Kaioken on top, going Super Kaioken. This gives him a massive increase in power. It's the multiplier of Super Saiyan plus whatever multiplier of Kaioken you use. And with how good he is with Kaioken and Super Saiyan, let's take it to the using times 10. This helps him a lot against Piper. This technique is very taxing on his body, but it helps him win the tournament. But this Piper might interest him a lot. He wants to see him again after. I mean, that strengthens the Kakarot because, you know, he gets tough with Piper after the tournament. The two are respectful of each other, acknowledging the other's strength. And not just how Ken Kai's very happy to hear this because he's over West Kai. Look at that. West Kai's student is interested in North Kai. But Ken Kai's laughter is cut short. He gets
It's the outside. Lower the bridge.
Take him out!
power, this fighter, Aura, goes to bridge. That's about it. So, I went over to Kakarot as well. Sadly, I left it short, but the whole
A path by the gate?
Nothing stands against us.
He sees the clothes he has and the symbol on his chest. A student of the Cottons. He's ready to fight and ready to draw this out for as long as he needs. But Kakarot's not going to let that fly. For a very brief period, he jumps into Super Kaioken, but just Kaioken times 2. Little side note, this means he basically gets the same boost as Super Saiyan 2. But he doesn't want to give up too much energy, which should be enough to defeat Debor. He catches Debor off guard, and with one powerful hit, he knocks the King of the Demon Realm unconscious. And as he falls to the ground, Tenshinhan and Krillin finish him off, killing him. Babidi watches from his ship, terrified, although he looks Queequeg and Yakon, who are immediately as the fighter. Energy from Kakarot, but it's not nearly enough, and he panics trying to figure out another option. Maybe he can possess one of the fighters. But no luck. Krillin's obviously not going to go Majin, and Ten's heart has hardened since he's been evil, so he's resilient to this too. Ironically enough, Kakarot would probably be the most susceptible due to his Saiyan nature, but that's still not going to happen. He gave up his Saiyan ways a while ago since he was a kid, and his mental fortitude is way too much for Babidi to break through. So, Babidi's ship is blown up, killing Babidi.
Don't you fear our might?
Waiting to make sure it's safe. He thanks everyone for their help and is glad it went so smoothly. And he's sorry for sending Krillin and Tenshinhan on it without knowing that Aura was there. They're a little bummed that they didn't get to finish their match in the tournament, but it's fine. They can't go all out there anyways. It wouldn't be as fun without them being able to use their full ability. But maybe Shin will allow them to fight on a place where they can't do that? Oh, of course. As a reward, they can fight each other on the same level ties without worrying about destroying anything around them. As I've said, of course Krillin is going to win, but this allows the both of them to have a fun fight for once in a while. With Kakarot and Shin getting to see how far these two have got. And that's what Kakarot eventually. Now they actually get to know him. While he's not here, they've seen him occasionally before, but that young player Kuba is pretty interesting. Kuba was motivated by seeing him. Do it, so maybe he can.
Hey, BB.
He passed eventually, a visitor appeared on ship's planet. Someone that ship would help. As mentioned before, the camera access got key, maybe he can access the of course, we lost some interest in then straight ask a question. When Kakarot didn't train on his planet, well, that kind of came out of nowhere. Kakarot's heard of Beerus. This is the first time he's meeting Beerus. Not seems a little bit terrified of him. I mean, just listen to this time. You'd have to be crazy to not get scared. Well, at least if you don't know Beerus' true personality. Joke aside, Kakarot would also been trained. Before Kakarot knows, though, he wants to test his strength. Says he can fight him with all he's doing. He's saying weapons. He'll allow all. Kakarot looks at the full level of Paladin. There's nothing. He goes on the Super Saiyan. There's nothing. He goes on the Super Paladin. It does nothing. And then he does interest. A while ago, he was actually a full Sword. That's what he trained with his ship. He was able to grab the Sword to the beat. He hits him. There's a breakthrough. And then he realizes what he just did. He heard Kakarot asking about it. Kakarot's terrified too. Okay, look, what did he just do? He broke the Z-Sword. But that's not what Beerus is mad. Because as the Z-Sword comes out and die, Beerus doesn't want to deal with this right now. So he grabs on Kakarot and tells him to say goodbye, as he moves to drag Kakarot with Beerus' planet. With everyone else just looking on dumbfounded, both of the fact that Beerus just kidnapped one of Shin's students, the fact that he's a queen, and the fact that there's Kai.
Little help, BD?
Elder Kai is equally confused. Who would be doing all these on his planet? And why was Beerus here just now safe? They have a lot of questions, but we're gonna have to wait for the next part until they can answer. So, we'll leave off here for now. As discussed last time, once Kakarot left to train with Beerus never can see the ship. They can train someone else now. They already did Krillin on the planet. But now, Icon's gonna join too. It's crazy. He's heard of this place and of this ability God, but he never would have actually expected to be here. What's even crazier, Shin realized that Icon's actually stronger than Krillin intended. So he's got a head start right away. Not to mention, since he's dead, Kit-Kat has a new student. Moved up to the great factors. Much like Krillin. Also, the Super Saiyan is, this one seems a lot more common. Or changing with his eyes. Back right now. Now, and it's called Super Package strong. Strong. Actually, said, move past it, back on. Back on. Also, once passed out. Rapidly punches the king's cock. Now let it. Catching up with King Kai and getting to know Upa some more. He's glad that King Kai's found a new student, and King Kai's glad to see how strong Kakarot is now. No matter where he is, Kakarot continues growing, and that puts King Kai at ease. Eventually, Kakarot does head back to Beerus's planet, and everyone resumes their normal training for the time being. Until someone comes to Universe 7, that being Shaman. Universe 6 is going to happen. The team's going to be very different this time. The only constant is Kakarot, who isn't even the same as Goku. As for the other 4 fighters, Krillin, Ten, and Pikkon are on the crew. With Kakarot deciding to ask Goku for his fight. That makes 5 fighters. And they're all pretty confident. The tournament itself starts, and Upa's actually pretty confident. It's so weird because this guy isn't phased by any of his attacks. But Upa realizes that this guy is stretchy too. That may have his perks, but may not be disadvantage. Upa grabs onto one of Watamo's arms, and Watamo wonders what he's up to. Still unfazed. Upa goes into Kaioken, and with his feet, he creates a key blast, quickly propelling him back to the other side of the ring. As he flies back, Watamo's arm is striking. Watamo can't pull his arm back, and Upa his arm. He shot it out of the ring, being defeated in this one swift motion by Upa. Not only is he strong, he's smart. Although next he faces Frost. In Frost's first form is not too much of an issue, but Frost realizes that this guy's taking the fight very seriously. He could just poison him, but instead, Frost says transform. Not going into his final form, but his assault form. He begins to get an upper hand until Upa activates a new stage of Kaioken. Going into times 20, being able to keep up with him. Frost needs to maintain his demeanor, but he's going. So swiftly, he decides to poison him, winning this fight. Next up is Ten Shinhan, who forces Frost into his final form to his power. In terms of strength alone, he outclasses Frost, and Frost realizes it. So once again, he's going to poison this thing. Ten doesn't notice until it's too late, but with his 3 eyes, he's able to see the evil practices of but make sure that Frost is qualified for one. That's a big one. That's how we take the ball off the net. So there's nothing else to come up with. It's probably. Pikkon will probably the next one. Pikkon actually doesn't sleep. It takes inspiration from Dragon Ball Zero. We're actually in Pikkon before. Super Pikkon. This one has that permanent relationship. That would be the only difference. So much about it, it doesn't really change much in terms of feature. Ahead, him or Dragon Ball Heroes on him anyways. So really, we can do whatever we want. For simplicity, and help power up, we're going to take this level of Super Saiyan. His power. That's why I got still still has something else that he can show off.
Now, BD.
Next, he'll power up him like not him. And the Elder Kaioken's attention. This is all incredible. Power of this team. He can make this smaller than sometimes to see how much they can grow. But still, overcome them. Kakarot's actually really nervous. Sure, Super Saiyan God's pretty powerful, and he kind of seems like something. And he's briefly able to keep up with him takes the advantage. Kakarot needs to stay. He's getting very desperate by this point. He is the strongest player. Well, Ten and Upa are up next, and they don't stand a chance. While he hasn't really tried this before, he decides to test it out. By God, he can use Kaioken. Although it's not a high level, it can only have a maximum of 4. not really sure how to control it. And it's pretty painful to use. But even with this desperate boost of power, it's not enough. Upa, and even though Ken also controls it, simply this means Shaman's going to glitch, but Beerus isn't going to let it slide. He doesn't have much time. He wants to find a way to convince Shaman to do something else. Wait, now that he thinks about it, why does Shaman have to steal her? The Super Dragon Ball's king just copy it or something? Well, as he tells Shaman, Zeno would probably get pretty mad at Zeno if he wouldn't want to hang with Zeno, right? This is a fair point, and Shaman considers it. I mean, stealing her is kind of unnecessary. So luckily Shaman hears Beerus out and is able to be convinced. He makes the whole reasonable choice of asking for a copy rather than just stealing Beerus to be asking. Hard to say something. So everything's back to normal, right? Everything's all good. Well, not quite. Things may be settled now, but of course not to mistake like that. Following this arc we normally have Zamasu, but that's not going to happen here. Beerus doing time travel can anger Zamasu. And sure, seeing Kakarot's power may sour him a bit, but it's Zamasu motivation here to actually do what he wants. There's nothing that really takes him off of the set in that direction. So luckily, that arc gets completely avoided. But one arc that won't be avoided is the one with power. Zeno saw this tournament action in it. Deciding that it was pretty fun, he wanted to do something like that for himself. He's probably not going to form the same friendship with Kakarot. Kakarot isn't no, as we've discussed many times in this scenario. He's much more respectful of the gods, and actually pretty fearful of Zeno once he hears what he is. But now he needs to find 10 fighters from the tournament, and that's going to be pretty tough. At first, it's not so bad. And Krillin and Upa and Piker. The first three of them actually suggest Roshi should be too. He is pretty strong despite his age. He's never actually seen Roshi attack. I don't know about you cannot win. Now, third things are pretty amazing to see again. I got one jokes aside, though.
Help, BD!
Naturally, the best way to my mom. And all that. Just so they have more power than and now stronger. When he agrees to be the host, then a man can get fused together, fused into on the process of being one. So the people that the man gets in one. Okay, things are going good so far. They have Kakarot plus the original fighter. Now Pybara and Aeon.
Find something?
Kakarot grabs the great benefits of the fighter. Other than Kami,
Good scan, BD.
there is Kami, but they'd be better off using which there has been now, but not sure how to look at it. One is someone particularly strong and one particularly person I know. So that's why this guy's the tyrant, the most wicked of the wicked. He's actually the person who destroyed his planet. However, the group votes against him. They don't want an evil person joining them, especially considering he might not even be that strong. But it's good that they know about Frieza. They can be concerned about him for later. But he'd be a bad pick. They'd be better off just reviving Boo purposefully. Well, there is Master Shen, but Ten decides it might be a good idea to recruit Chaozu. He's not particularly strong and he hasn't been training with Ten that much. He's only seen Ten when he's been on Earth. But he's an old friend who does have some good techniques at least. And that's the only other strong Earthling that they can think of. But even then, that only makes 9 fighters. Kakarot, Ten, Krillin, Roshi, Pikkon, Pybara, Nail, Upa, now Chaozu. It's up to Kakarot to find someone else strong in the universe. It has to be someone. Kakarot goes back to Whis. Maybe he can help. They gotta survey the universe. There has to be someone. Thankfully, Whis is able to help, but it's gonna take some time to search for the universe. He
pulls on his staff and they begin looking. It seems they already have most of the strong people. Kakarot's hoping that maybe they have people like Universe 6 did, maybe their own version of him. He knows they have their own version of Frost, but he's not particularly a good pick. In terms of someone like Kaba, or Kakarot for that regard, well, Kakarot's the only Saiyan that's living, right? And this is where things get weird. Something catches Whis' eye that he didn't expect. Whis turns to Kakarot and actually has some good news. And also possibly some bad news to go along with it. The good news is, Whis didn't find someone who may be particularly strong and may be able to help. But the bad news is, well, Kakarot's not the only Saiyan left in the universe. This other strong fighter is also a Saiyan as well. And maybe the whole reason he survived is because he was banished in this planet. This, of course, comes as a shock to Kakarot. He thought he was the only one left. But Whis pulls on his staff. There's two. One's an old Saiyan, not particularly helpful. But the other, named Broly, may actually be of use. Kakarot doesn't know what to think of this. There's two other Saiyans this spend time with him. And even if the Saiyan is strong, time's running out. He's not sure if he'll be able to convince him to join the tournament. Right away, Shin teleports Kakarot away. They need to make haste, and hopefully, they can convince this guy. With that, we'll have this part here for now. After Shin arrives on Beerus' planet, he and Kakarot teleport straight to Vomit. Shin's a little bit nervous, but Kakarot says it'll be okay. He knows how to talk to people, and hopefully he can convince this guy to get on the team. Shin waits nearby as Kakarot goes over. Seeing a man carrying a giant dead bug, he flies over and casually greets the man. It's Broly, and he's immediately on guard. No one else is supposed to be on this planet. Kakarot doesn't seem too intimidating, but obviously this would be suspicious. Paragus hears and comes out too. And now Kakarot has a lot to explain. He knows they don't know each other, but tells them they have a common goal. The universe is enemies. He hopes that Broly can help him see. He goes into a lot more detail, explaining who he is and why he can trust him. Even with all this information, of course there's enough to still be suspicious. Although, how else did this guy get here to know about him? I actually can correct him. But Paragus knows something. He has today. Is he a Saiyan too? He dressed very weirdly, but Kakarot goes to the room. This is what Paragus for. He got the name from the old Saiyan. Really, Kakarot's the old Saiyan. Kakarot's how can we get him on this planet? From what he knows, Broly's pretty strong and have a lot of potential. Paragus has one more question. This guy knows how to say it. Does he know if one named Vegeta is still alive? Kakarot knows he's responsible. He was a bad guy who attacked him. Kakarot knows something. Let's help his friend early. Which is very important. Now,
Another one of those things.
Since they only needed one extra fighter, they didn't need two fused Namekians, only one, which makes Nail way stronger than he would be. He has every single Namekian fused within him at the moment. And Kakarot wants to test his power. Nail actually can be the strongest in the team now, and the best part is he can come in the room and skipping time without taking any food, so they won't have to worry about rationing anything. It's not like they have that much time anyway. The three enter ready to train for a few months. As you'd probably expect, Nail is pretty strong in Kakarot's embrace, as well as Broly's strength too. Broly doesn't have any experience in fighting these monsters on problem, but slowly and surely he gets with that, especially with Kakarot and Nail's strength. Nail notices some features in Kakarot. The two try to test each other's powers out while fighting. Kakarot specifically wants to test something out. Taking Whis' teachings in mind, he calms himself, ready for Nail to attack. Nail gets attacked, he runs his strength into a pretty even. But Kakarot's going for something else. He dodges Nail's attack, while he sees his body get Kakarot attack. Broly marches on as well, except it's
Throw me a stim, BD. Just in time.
They wish they knew before, but they could unlock everyone. Now Broly has time to really do one or
This was an arena once. The Night Brothers only respect those with power.
And as you expect, they will. Broly doesn't have that once. And after Kakarot hears about how he reaches out at times, yeah, it's probably better than trying to transform. the intimate multiplier himself, not as a way to fight, but as a way to persevere. One of his clothes is really small, enough to hide one of the cracks in the box and buy when he killed him. He does this with a few other clothes. They thought he was hidden, while the other one attacked him.
Vengeance for my
Of course,
sisters.
the strength turns him strong, but he'll focus on it. One of the first players to have the first experience not easy. I can confidently take them all on. Like trying to stuff lab. It seems to be one of the biggest problems. Tanner was poison, and good lab is confident. Leaving Tanner in his control. Being
I need some help. Nice job.
Having a fighter to support him wasn't really good. The reason the fighters are able to hold their own pretty well. Roll is a lot more experienced now and strong. He didn't have much time to use. Another good slowly he
Just what we need.
Nail has much easier to kind of. He was already strong.
Want to look inside? Yes. Let's take a look.
One of the interesting things that he notices is that Universe 6 is connected as well. They seem to have the same story. These two also feel their kind of friend. Although it's the one fighter of his team, it seems they have a lot in common. With the kind of fight we expected. This is one of Nail's first fights, and as you probably said, he is able to win. He doesn't particularly care about that. They're all in the same situation. And Nail's not really the only one to share that idea. Uba and Roshi are also fighting with him. This is one of his first real fights, at least on this scale. He's had a lot of fights on Earth, but this is very different. But he can finally put his training to use. Roshi definitely still has some things to teach him, as does Kami and King Kami. And in terms of strength, he's far surpassing the Master's fighter, showing that off against the fighters in his team, with a combination of skill and power. Krillin even joins the fight trying to help him. Surprised to see how strong the new student is. As for Python, he would either work with Lieutenant Jiaozi or would go alone. He makes great use of his new super. Showing off some awesome power. A lot of the universes are taking it back. Universe 7 is pretty strong. Also, Jiren does seem like a big threat. Kakarot aims to take him out right away. He has a much different demeanor than the Goku, but still, the same blood is pumping and he does look forward to a great fight against Jiren. This eventually leads to Kakarot making the Spirit Bomb, which surprisingly, he's never really used before. It's great because he's finally able to test his trump card that King Kai gave him. And what's better, he has some perfect support. Everyone in this team is ranking a lot of them. And as for Kaimara, he's down to the other players on the team, which makes the Spirit Bomb much more potent. No Kakarot really improved. A lot more, you know. There's much more on that. Jiren tries to move like that in the ring. Kakarot launches a massive shot. With this, Jiren is taking. Although power itself is still very taxing to the body. Luckily, the other players died. Never at some point, Halo calls happen. But two really big issues. For one, Robin never went to by this point, Robin would know what his representation back was. He wouldn't know how to access it at all, or even if he did. And because of that, now the college are going to either. So when they introduce Kefla just makes her. She still isn't exactly strong, but Python takes her on. He's actually a pretty great match for her, even though overpowered. Nagara offers to use it, but Python lets her he takes her alone, and he can win. Showing off some more written out.
Knew you jump in there. Let's see what you found.
Disco is defeated as Nail continues to his toe. Toe whatever event his morals goes to without instruction, which actually helped Nail draw the top. Besides that, the other big threat left is on Bronze. He tries to go for Kakarot and defeat him, seeing him as a potential threat even though he seems worn out. But Kakarot watches on as his friends defend him. All of you are 7 bands together to defeat the giant monster. Kakarot blocks his strength and extends his way. Both of his teams together. All of you are fighting the giant monster together. Showing off the combined strength of you was 7. And with that, they can win the tournament out. There are a few candidates. Hybarra did help a lot in this. Playing on a nail also got some great elimination from the other. And obviously Kakarot did help. Although really, so, I feel like Nail was probably beyond him. Nail got to improve a lot and got some pretty important reputation. He has both quantity and quality in his name. Super Dragon.
My sisters used to call their leader Mother. She used powerful magic.
Sorry, what the one wish to get that. General with one wish to store everything. That's not quite like this. Everyone. All of the person with although the story is what and he doesn't do it, but Halo got the ultimate. Unless all the decades of things happen, it's like to keep. But when you think about it, well, I don't know. I'll let you guys know the answer to the question. Anyway, we're only in always finally got it. Well, he saw him this instead of working back to that. I have someone to know. He saw him but of course, they don't have to be part of it. Now that we for the power, of course, the bully will be supposed to happen. Here, there is no bully. An explanation for the top. Bully's always part of the story. By now, as for the next year, I was asking whether or not and I was wondering if they all keep it. And after reading the comments and deciding for myself, I was thinking maybe it would be better. What makes it
That thing looks like trouble.
Brothers, stand with me! Brothers, an intruder!
I hear you! Fight me, you coward!
You cannot defeat our might! Shakes in fear! The trespasser! Cannot hide your weakness! Stop him from moving! Where is your skill? Stop me! Jason!
Help me, BD.
Lead, Herman! Stop dancing around!
So it's kind of routine right now. Not to mention he's much stronger than Becky Saber we saw in the mod. Although it's not everything that he's using it. So he's not as strong as his tournament power counterpart, but even if he's only half as strong, he's still way stronger than pretty much any player.
What'd you find?
Sole person ready to fight its tail is set. Or doesn't really expect much.
Nice job.
Sure, you know, some things are strong. This one is really starting to put trouble, especially when it's only one of them. He quickly learns that that's not the case. Nail immediately attacks with street presence, ready to defeat him right away. Or actually get the hit caught off guard by a couple punches from him. He's actually pretty surprised. He would have never expected that Becky to be this strong. Maybe upside of this too. Using energy absorption, he can perfectly energy land and hit him. Not counting trouble to make the dragon. Right now he's something about the guy attacking him is pretty familiar. Shin doesn't know too much about Moro, but he knows that he's perfect for the pilot. Although so long ago told with stories. But from what he can gather, this guy's a pretty strong magician that can take people's energy. And while Nail may be pretty strong, Nail's luckily Shin has some people on his planet to help with him. Currently training with him, he has drilling pipe hunts with Shin. And while the magic may be an issue, Shin has using his magic abilities, he may be able to work around it, at least providing support with his fighters. Fighters usually will help the whole thing. They're not too sure how they're going to defeat him. Maybe you three fighters with him a couple of levels. And then Shin remembers the right maybe Shin can figure out a way to do this. If so, that would make sense. I'm not too sure how to. He's going to keep that in mind. Now Moro's outnumbered and overpowered. Looking great and overpowered. But he sees someone that catches his eye. Of course, now he's in there, he can probably be more than target. Luckily, the fighters are all in the remote control. He tries to steal their energy, but he notices
Only death awaits you here.
It's not something perfect, but it's better than like getting it. If it doesn't strong enough, maybe the thing will He realizes their plan and knows that they have to work around it sometimes. And really, the only way to do it is actually to treat it. They're being Moro pretty badly, and luckily for him, he has an escape. He lifts his hands up, launching lava out from the ground below him. And as the lava clears, the fighters see multiple Moros flying away. There's at least a dozen of them, and no one knows which one is the real Moro. Moro and his apparitions all fly away. With the fighters wondering when they should chase them, Python quickly charges up an attack and launches towards the coordinates. But when it connects, all of them disappear. None of them were real. The real Moro actually escaped elsewhere, keeping a low profile and running away instead of flying. It's clear that they may need some more help. Luckily, someone else was watching over, and someone tries to contact Shin. On the way on Beerus's planet, Kakarot is actually aware of what's happening, but Beerus and Louise waited to send him. They didn't want him to get involved right away, but now that things are getting kind of bad, they say that it may be a good idea. He asks Shin to teleport him there. He thinks he has a great idea of how to counter Moro. Shin immediately goes there, picking up Kakarot and goes back to David with him. Kakarot's idea is pretty simple. He asks everyone to build to get one of the power, Ultra Instinct. Well, actually, he's trying to work on that now. And it might be effective against Moro, as well as letting Kakarot test his power. They definitely remember it from before, but they're surprised. Can he even access that? He shows it off. After training with Beerus and Wheat some more, he actually figured out how to access it at will. We even saw this before the Tournament of Power. When he was in the Rumosphere at the time, he was really close to figuring out how to use it whenever. The Tournament of Power just gave him a bigger push as to how it feels. Combined with all his knowledge and experience, he can actually use Uriah Omen whenever he wants. He's still infuriated from the fact that he will bring Omen. But they also do something terrible. All that Omen's are in trouble. They can get the Dragon Ball, but somehow, or we can find it. Put them in the possession. Now he's supposed to get the final one, and they can actually see him quickly. right. But by the time they all catch up to it, longer things, no different. Warlord turns around quick. Now with his beard is shrunk, his wrinkles are gone away. That's slightly more muscle. Not to mention the power to it's more powerful. But even with this, Kakarot feels level when he tries to get his attention. As Kakarot comes in and follows, Warlord is surprised. He wonders what this guy is playing. Until he sees stop. When he's sitting there to put Kakarot, they definitely have the upper hand with this. The gap in power is great. Despite War's getting power up, Kakarot still has the upper hand. Not just
Wait up. It might be dangerous.
Not just his energy absorption, but pretty much what was on the field. Not that he's going fine too. Not to be was pissed off. The run was helped his purpose. Kakarot is fighting the future. Nothing did not on the one all the left until prisoners had escaped. But once again, War was stand up, his lava flies out of the left. Almost Kakarot when he dodges it. Flipping backwards as he's surrounded by plumes of lava. The plumes go away and he sees War standing on the ship. Anything all the prisoners should attack. Even with this threat, the fighters are determined. Drill and tension on the Python are always really strong. And of course, Nail's pretty strong too. Together with Kakarot, they're able to fight off a lot of the prisoners. Shin even gets involved in the fight. Focus on that. But they lose focus on him. And now with Shin under attack, he doesn't have to worry about his magic being mitigated. Moreover, he's taking the energy away. They power down during battle, slowly losing all the energy. They've already defeated some of the prisoners until the Galactic Control catches them. But if it keeps going like this, they're not going to win. Quickly, Shin tells them to wrap it up and not just the fighters there,
Up here!
Kakarot's surprised. He didn't even realize he was. Well, yeah, if that's the way it works, he's down to do it. Things are seeming to get better. Since Kakarot's pretty strong right now, he's probably the best bet to actually get this. Shin considers bringing the other fighters here, but it's better for Kakarot just to have himself here as the only focus for Pipara. Shin has a separate plan. He's going to go back to his planet and train the fighters there, trying to teach them magic. Sure, he might not be the best at magic when he writes in time. If he teaches some magic to the other fighters, at the very least, he'll train them. There's more heat, plus, as a new round of power with him, it'll let them get stronger in a different way. As Kakarot begins his training, Shin teleports back to his planet. This is going to take some time, though, and in that time, Laura begins going around the universe, mainly with his scouts going to find treasure. Of course, one of the big targets would be Earth. One day, Oop is training with King Kai, and King Kai knows that he senses something terrible heading towards Earth. Immediately, Oopa goes to return, flying across Snake Way in a matter of a second, quickly meeting up with Kami who teleports him back to Earth. Roshi's already at the look. He sensed this too. More scouts arrive, and right away, Oopa goes into battle kit, and the three fighters go into battle. While Chaozu and Roshi are the strongest fighters, they are really helpful. And Oopa is pretty strong as Goku, especially with battle kit. As they are now, they're probably enough to actually defend Earth, defeating the scouts that need them, at least the first fight. These aren't the last of the scouts. The three of them are still on guard, and in a matter of minutes, 4 scouts are stronger than the fighters. One of them is actually the leader of the Earth, Sasuke. But luckily, they have another ally that comes into play. Broly joins them in the fight. After those other scouts showed up, they would dispute if not contact. He's glad to know. It's been a while since they've been fighting. It's been cracking. Say it Sadi. Having a clear upper hand, he makes quick work of the escape prison and tells him his Quickly, the four of them all make the same pose, charging a Kamehameha, launching it towards the escaped prisoner, who's then easily killed by the fighters. They successfully defend her, and Oro considers going after her himself, but he decides it's not worth bothering. Scouts can focus on the other plans for now. He's already lost a couple scouts on that planet, and it wouldn't really be worth it for him to go himself and try and take their energy. The fighters there are incredibly strong, and Earth is a little bit out of the way for him. He'll get to it later, so luckily for now, Earth is safe and off of Oro's radar, but he'll keep it in mind. Oro right now is on a planet that might come up with him. Kakarot's going to get that source of energy. Eventually, he'll meet some of the scouts in the Darker. Of course, Kakarot would defeat him pretty easily, but this would be more spread to Oro than today. And Kakarot realized that by now, he's about a month ago. He got it. Teleports to King Kai's planet. He wants to make sure that King Kai's okay if he says that. King Kai's been monitoring the situation to see what's been going on, and he's got to say, he's pretty proud of Kakarot. Kakarot has spent a lot of time on Beerus' planet, but the two have seen each other individually. King Kai does know his progress. I mean, of course they would keep up to date with each other. Kakarot is basically a up so as long as first can't test, Kakarot tells him that King Kai he tells Kakarot, no matter what abilities he learns, there is still more things he's learned. Kakarot's worried that this guy's gonna get decimated. He looks like he's struggling. So he'll let this right now. He reveals spirit vision. He begins taking Oro's energy, not only returning it to all the planets where it was stolen from, but stealing so much that the magician actually gets weaker. He keeps trying to attack, but as he gets weaker, he has an even harder time to get Kakarot to move forward. And Kakarot only has an easier time dodging. All the energy is returned, and the only remaining energy is all excess. And Kakarot has the perfect idea of what to do with it. With this excess energy, he lifts a hand to it, dodging all of Oro's attacks when he does this. All the energy forms but a modified version of Kakarot made this sense. Thanks to
Toss me one, BD. BD! BD, I need help!
That big bitch is good away.
That's because we base your quote on how you drive, not who you are.
I don't think I got
Sounds simple,
that.
isn't it? Well, yeah. Take Root for a ride today. I'm glad he's single because I would have climbed that like a tree. This one time?
Help, please!
Okay, one more round and I'm done, yo.
I am Danny, the creator of Geek the 101. I'm going to get on camera here once I push the button. Stand by. Okay, hello, welcome to the Dragon Ball Super Bowl 2000. I'm going ahead of myself. 2021 through May 9, 2021 live stream as we discuss the historic announcement made yesterday of the 2022 Dragon Ball Super movie coming to theaters next. And we have a lot to talk about here to come to the stream. First of all, I want to welcome y'all to the live chat. Let me go ahead and take a look at the live chat. And you'll be live now. Let's see here. For now,
Hey, BD! BD, I need help!
depending on when the film is going to be coming out, because all we know is that's going to be in 2022. It may end up being December of 2022, or it may be the summer. There are 2 possible release dates that I foresee for Dragon Ball Super 2022. It could be in the summer of 2022, or it could be in the winter of 2022, or later in the year. The reason why I'm saying that's because typically movies that Toei releases come out usually around May, Golden Week, or in August of the summer, and that's right around the summertime. And then in November,
so I'm an hour
December
and 44
is when
minutes in.
the other date could be. Again, we don't know yet. We do not know.
We got 16 more minutes.
Yet. But I'm looking at the numbers right now, waiting for more people to comment. Hello, happy Goku Day, and happy if you're out there and you're a mother, or if you want to, have a mother, tell her I said happy Mother's Day. Also, if you sign up now and become a member on channel, sign up with Tier 2, you'll have access to the Kingdom 101. So I want to get into a couple things. You've already got but I want to get into a couple more things to talk about. Why I didn't everything about this movie, and the answer is I don't know everything about this movie. I know some things, I don't know everything. But I want to talk about something slightly personal here before we get into the movie. Slightly personal, okay? So 2020 was a rough year for a lot of people because of what happened. The virus and having a rough time in life, being away from loved ones. We had events taken away from us. We had certain shows postponed. We had very if you are wondering, some of you guys are probably wondering, Danny Kingdom, did you know about this? Did you know they were going to put a movie out and announce it today? Yes, I did know. On April 8, 2021, I received an email, unspecified person. And I'm putting the email on the screen right now. As you can see right there, the date is right here, April 8, 2021 at 4:20 a.m., which were starting to see that I was incredibly resourceful. So why would I invent? Why would I make up a story? Why would I, out of thin air, invent that Super was coming back? Because I was desperate for views? No, my channel was doing fine in 2019. And the amount of bullshit that I dealt with, people saying why, this and that, it got postponed. Plans. That's what happened. And I kept telling you.
BD, stim here. I've lied to exes, but I've never lied to my audience. I'm not one of those guys. So I just want to tell you that and show you this. Now, there's more stuff to this email. I'm not going to get into it. AKA the hype was Broly was so high that they chose to go ahead and make another movie, or at least plan another movie. Akira Toriyama himself has picked up his pen to deliver a fascinating story that fans desire, from the magnificent story composition to character design to the lines of the script. Toriyama has worked passionately with the greatest attention to detail and highest quality standards, creating a Dragon Ball movie unlike any other in history, and one that will surely be a blockbuster with fans. So, obviously, a lot of Japanese hyperbole. Every time it's a new game, all I see the same thing. It's going to be the greatest thing ever, the biggest deal. And Help, please.
Broly is so popular that Toriyama and Shueisha would be fools to not have Broly come back. Even though I don't think this film's going to be about Broly, I think Broly will